to be testing out the Rimmel Stay Matte foundation. So I did have somebody ask on a forum a couple of weeks ago about the Stay Matte foundation and how people liked it and how it worked for them. And I basically told her, you know what, I'll just go ahead and make a video and do a review for you so you can see how it works on somebody's face throughout the day. It's a very thick, almost full coverage like foundation, and it's very, very matte. So when you use a matte foundation, it is very thick and it could become very cakey really fast. So I'm gonna go ahead and use it with the Beauty Blender. And let me show you what it looks like. I'm using number 200 in Soft Beige. So let me put some on my fingers so you can see, wow, like how it's very thick. And you don't need very much of it. And we're also going to be using the Rimmel Stay Matte setting powder as well, because I need to set my face when I put anything on it, just because I do get pretty oily. And so I've already moisturized and I've already primed and all that stuff, and I'll have all that stuff in the down bar, so if you guys are interested in what I used today, you'll be able to see what I used, and if you want to pick it up, you can try it out yourself. So basically, I'm just going to go ahead and pat this in my skin. You need to work really quick with it. You can totally use a brush with it if you'd like. A brush would be fine. And you could also, you know, use a brush first, brush it in your skin, and then pat it in with the Beauty Blender afterwards, which would work really, really great too. I should have done that, but I chose to do this way. So I've also found that this foundation in the winter works really well. I have not tried it out or tested it out in the summer months. And so now that it's like 80 degrees outside, we'll put it to the test today so you can see what it looks like after it's been through, you know, crazy heat and all that. I'm just gonna put a little bit more on my cheek area there, because I'm a little red there. All right, so that's what it looks like with it on. I'll go ahead and zoom in so you can see a little bit better what it looks like in the pore area. There. So all right, I'm gonna zoom back out. All right, so that's what it looks like on. I'm gonna go ahead and set the areas, like my T-zone area where I know I'm gonna get oily, with this Stay Matte loose, and it's not a loose powder, it's a pressed powder. So it's from Rimmel as well. And this stuff works really well. I use it every day. Right, so that's what it looks like with the foundation and the Stay Matte setting powder. So I'm gonna go and put the rest of my makeup on. I'll be back to show you what it looks like with the full face of makeup, and then I will come back at the end of the day so you can see what it looks like in like a 10 to 8 hour day. All right, I'll be right back, guys. All right, so I'm back. I have finished putting my makeup, and we're using the Stay Matte Rimmel foundation today. I do like this foundation. I think makeup goes on really well with it. It doesn't look too cakey if you put it on in layers, if that makes any sense. So I'm gonna go ahead and go about my day, and I will come back at the end of the day in about 10 hours, show you what it looks like in a 10-hour period. This foundation will normally last on my face all day long. So it will go over the 10-hour mark, but I'll come back in 10 hours and show you what it looks like. Again, I have not tried it in the heat of summer, and we are in the middle of summer right now, and it's about 80 degrees. So I am giving it a new test today, because I normally try it in the winter because that's just when I bought it. So we're both testing it out today to see how it does in the summer months. All right, I shall be back in about 10 hours, and you guys have a good afternoon. All right, so I'm back. It has now been 10 hours that I've been wearing this foundation, and it is still looking really well. So it is 80 degrees outside. I went and shopped for a little bit. So as I look at myself in the mirror, I can see where it's kind of starting to break up a little bit right here in this area. and in this area, and it's a little tacky to the touch. So at this point, if I would just take my Stay Matte and I would mattify some of these areas, or if you didn't want to add an extra layer, you can always take your blender and then just pat out some of those areas and see if you can fix those areas. The problem with using a beauty blender on my face after the 10 hours and it gets a little oily is that it does kind of move around the foundation a little bit. So that's something you need to be aware of if you're going to take a beauty blender and try to blend it out. But if you do take just the mattifying stuff and just blot it in the areas where you think that you're having a little bit of issues, and it doesn't really, for me, add an extra layer. It just, you know, takes away that shininess that's starting to come 10 hours in, which isn't bad. It isn't bad at all. And like I said, I've been wearing this for 10 hours. It is starting to feel a little tacky to the touch, but I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad. It still has the same coverage that it did before. It still looks exactly, I don't know if it's exactly like it did, you know, when I put it on this morning, but I think it's okay. I am going to zoom in so you can see some parts where I had told you that it does cling. And I don't know if I probably didn't say this on the camera, but I did say it to the girl that I was speaking to, that it does kind of cling to dry spots. So let me zoom in a little bit and kind of show you. So like right here, get closer. Actually, let me just get really closer there. There. So you can kind of see right here where it kind of starts clinging a little bit, you know, and then it does get a little clingy in the nose area, but I have like a dry nose in this area here and here, so that's something that I deal with every kind of foundation, and it really all depends on how foundation works for you and if it will do that for you or not. So, okay, I guess this is the end of this video, and I'm happy that you guys stayed long enough to see the end of it. I would say if you have an oily T-zone, or if you have an oily face for that matter, this Rimmel Stay Matte is it's a really good foundation. I think it's only around $6, like $5 and some change in my area. I don't know, I know it varies, but I only paid about $5 or $6 for this. So I like it. I use it during the winter most of the time because I don't get sweaty, but today was a good test for me because I've never worn it during the summer where it's hot, and it did really well. I'm giving this Rimmel 2 thumbs up. I like it. So I hope you liked this review. If you have any questions about it, or if you have any concerns, just let me know. I will put down in the down bar everything that I wore on my face as far as makeup goes, so that if you would like to test it out with that. I did not use the Stay Matte primer today. I used either a Too Faced or a different one, but I'll definitely put that in the down bar so you know which one I used, and it was the Poreless one. I can't remember what it's called. This is what happens when you get old. You forget everything. Alright, well, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and go, and I shall talk to you guys next week sometime, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend. Alright, bye!